Hi, so this video is specific for the meaning of imperfective verbs when we use imperfective verbs. We're not going to talk about how to form them. We're just going to be talking about how to recognize what context they're used in, so that if you see a sentence, you can understand whether you need an imperfective or a perfective verb. So first off, imperfective verbs. The good news is pretty much all of the verbs that you've learned so far that we've done last semester and that we started with this semester, pretty much all of them are imperfective. So you don't have to change anything in the way you learn them. So we've got znat, изучать, учиться, смотреть, вставать, ужинать, заниматься. All of these ones that we know, they're imperfective verbs. Now, when we talk about actions that happen in the present tense, which is what we've basically been doing for the most part last semester and up until this point this semester. When we talk about actions in the present tense, we always use imperfective verbs. Do not use perfective verbs in the present tense. Never, ever, ever. Only imperfective in the present tense. So, for example, я сейчас говорю о грамматике. Right now I'm talking about grammar with you guys. So, present tense, imperfective. Easy. Nothing new. We've been doing this all along. But let's talk about the past tense, because here we are going to have to make some distinctions between perfective and imperfective verbs. So when we're talking about actions that happen in the past, we are going to use imperfective in a couple of instances for expressing a few different things. So the first thing is if we're talking about the duration of an action, we'll use imperfective. If we're talking about something that happens over a long period of time, or if we're talking about how long something happens, some action occurs for a certain amount of time. For example, я читала 3 часа. I was reading for 3 hours. We've got a time expression, 3 часа, so we know how long something is happening. Duration, imperfective. Another time we use imperfective in the past is if we're dealing with a repeated action. So something that happens on a regular basis, something that happens over and over again, regularly. So for example, каждое утро я вставала в 10 часов. Every morning, I woke up at 10 o'clock. And just as a little hint, anytime you see any form of this word, каждое утро, каждый вечер, каждый день, каждый месяц, anytime you see this in a sentence, that is a dead giveaway that we're dealing with an imperfective verb. We've got a repeating action that happens every morning, every evening, every whatever. So repeated action is an imperfective verb. So repeated action, also imperfective. And then our last circumstance for using imperfective verbs in the past tense, if we're just naming an action in general, overall. For example, maybe my friend will ask me on Monday, что ты делала вчера? And I'll answer her, вчера я писала сочинение. So I don't care whether I finished writing my essay. That's what I did yesterday. I'm simply naming the action, giving it a general statement, a general name. I was writing my paper yesterday. So those are our 3 circumstances for using imperfective verbs in the past tense. Duration of an action, so an action that goes on for a while, repeated action, and naming an action. Let's look at some examples. Я всю ночь не спала. So what are we dealing with here? Are we dealing with duration, repeated action, or naming an action? Yeah, this one we're dealing with duration, всю ночь. I'm saying all night I didn't sleep. So when? All night. How about this one? Каждое утро Josh принимал душ. Which type of action is this? Hint. Каждое утро. So this is a dead giveaway that we're talking about a repeated action. Every morning, Josh took a shower. Okay, how about this one? В пятницу студенты писали тест. Yeah, this is just a general naming. So what happened on Friday? On Friday, the students took a test. So general naming. And how about обычно я не завтракала? Maybe like I'm talking about high school. Usually I didn't eat breakfast. Yeah. Here again, we're dealing with repeated action because we've got obычно usually. So these frequency expressions are really going to be helpful in determining whether you want perfective or imperfective. And specifically, you want imperfective when you see these ones like obычно, каждый, всегда. So to sum up, when we're using imperfective, we're focusing on duration of an action, or we've got a repeated action, or we're just naming an action in general. So that is imperfective in the past tense. The next video we'll deal with perfective in the past tense.